welcome back to my channel. So excited to have you back today. I'm going to be teaching you how to paint a beautiful loose landscape, and it has kind of like a dreamy vibe. So I'm really excited to teach you how to paint this beautiful painting. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the little icon on the top of your screen so that you'll be notified when my new tutorials go live. So let's get started. For my tutorial today, I'll be using the square watercolor pad. It's 8 by 8 inches by Art Philosophy, as well as the Classics watercolor palette by Art Philosophy. And don't forget that I'm gifting everyone watching this video a 15% discount on their website, www.artphilosophy.com. And all you need to do is use my coupon code ArtByBianca 15% at checkout on the website. So make sure to use this coupon code, and this applies to all their products. I love all their products. I use them in most of my work, so take advantage. I'll be using 3 brushes for this tutorial, and I've linked them in the description below. So if you'd like to shop any of the supplies that I'm using in this video, make sure to check the description under the video. So the first step to any loose watercolor painting, at least for me, is to wet my paper. I really want to get the water spread evenly on my canvas, and then I'll go in with some pigment, and that's what will create the magic. If you watch closely, I'm mixing a few different colors to create my sky. This is just a personal preference. You can use any blue you want or variation of blues and purples. It's really up to you. Next, I'm going in with a little bit of gray to add some depth to my clouds. Alright, so I'm satisfied with my sky now, and I'm going to start with the foliage. So I'll be starting with a few fall trees and just some grass and branches and random things. I like being, more on the loose side and less specific when I'm doing this style because, as I've mentioned before, this is a loose painting. So details are not that important. And of course, you can always go back in with a second layer if you do want to add details once your painting is dry. Okay, now I'm going to grab my brown watercolor and I'm going to paint the trunk of my tree. The reason I do this is to give me a reference point when painting the branches. I don't always paint the trunk first. Sometimes I'll paint the foliage first. It really depends on the tree and what I have in mind. So you'll notice that the second tree I'm going to paint, I'm just going to go right in without painting the trunk. Feel free to try both these methods because you might be surprised with what you end up creating, and you might prefer one method more than the other. When painting your tree, make sure to use different colors. Don't just stick to a basic green because your tree may end up looking flat. So I'm using a mix between my green, my blue, and my yellow. If you have any puddles of water on your paper, don't worry. Just dry your brush and dab it in the puddles and remove the water with a paper towel or with your fingers. Now I'll be painting my second pine tree, and you'll notice that I do not paint the trunk first. I start with my foliage directly, and I also start with the top, so the point at the top of the tree will work as my reference. So as opposed to the first tree, now I'm going in with my brown pigment and I am adding my tree trunk in where you see some white spaces between the branches. On the bottom left corner, I'm going to add a rock, so I'll be working on removing some of the pigment and adding some grays and browns to create the shape of the rock. Because this area is still quite wet, I'm actually going to continue with my colorful red and orange trees, and I'll continue the rock afterwards. I've mixed a bit of ultramarine blue with some red to create a deep magenta for some of my leaves. Now moving to the foreground of my painting and adding some more details. I'm really loving the effect so far, however, I do want to add more details to my tree, and the paper is drying up a little bit, so that means that I can add some more details without having them spread out and become too loose. And sometimes when the paper is too wet, you'll notice that what you're painting blurs out right away. So I am going to go back in and add some more brown so that my trunk kind of pops out a little more. So the bottom left side has dried up a little bit more, so I think it's time to go in and add some more details to my rock. You'll notice that I add but also remove pigment with my brush, and I do that to get a nice texture on my rock. Lifting pigment off your page is actually really easy, but you do need to make sure that your brush is completely clean in order to do this, and you do need to have a paper towel set next to you so you can dab the excess pigment onto it. To make my rock stand out a little bit more, I'm going to add some extra foliage right behind it. And here's the finished product. Now we just need to wait for it to dry. Thank you so much for joining me in this tutorial. I really hoped you enjoyed this video. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to be notified when my new tutorials go live so that you can keep on learning.